Nearly every gas pump in America warns you about a danger that has never caused a fire, not once anywhere in the world. There are zero documented cases. Scientists and investigators have tested the idea and declared it busted. But while everyone is watching their phones, nearly half of all refueling fires start with a mistake you probably make every week. If the warning signs are pointed in the wrong direction, what hazard are they missing, and why does fixing it mean the difference between a safe fill-up and a disaster? Every warning label about cell phones at the pump shares one thing: not a single fire anywhere in the world has ever been traced to a phone. The numbers are absolute. The Petroleum Equipment Institute has investigated nearly 200 refueling fires in the United States alone. None involved a cell phone. The Federal Communications Commission reviewed global incident reports and confirmed the same result: zero. Laboratory tests by safety researchers and televised experiments, including those by Mythbusters, placed active phones in clouds of gasoline vapor and failed to ignite anything. A 2019 engineering study calculated the odds of a cell phone triggering an explosion at a gas station at 1 in 10 billion, less likely than being struck by lightning while buying a lottery ticket. Fire service records from the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada show the same pattern. No fire marshal, no insurance investigator, no regulatory agency has ever documented a single case. Despite billions of fill-ups every year, the global tally remains unchanged: zero incidents. The evidence is so overwhelming that safety authorities now use the cell phone myth as an example of how misinformation can outlast the facts. The real causes of refueling fires lie elsewhere, hidden in plain sight, while the world fixates on a danger that simply does not exist. The myth that a ringing phone could turn a gas station into a fireball didn't just survive, it thrived. Stories spread faster than facts. By the late 1990s, news anchors warned viewers about cell phones at the pump, and inboxes filled up with forwarded tales of explosions that never happened. The details always sounded vivid: someone's cousin, a friend's coworker, a gas station somewhere in Texas or Indonesia. No names, no dates, just a story with enough drama to stick. Television didn't help. When Mythbusters tackled the cell phone question, they ran the experiment 3 different ways. They called, they texted, they surrounded phones with gasoline vapor. Nothing, not a single spark. Adam Savage declared the myth busted on national TV, but the clip of a phone next to a gas nozzle kept popping up in local news segments and viral videos, always with a warning, never with the outcome. Even after the FCC and safety agencies issued statements confirming the absence of any real-world cases, the warnings stayed up. The reason is simple: a vivid story grabs attention, while a dry statistic fades into the background. People remember the image of a phone setting off a fireball, not the line in a report that says it's never happened. The myth lingers because it is easy to picture, easy to share, and just unsettling enough to make you think twice, while the real hazards go unmentioned. Nearly 200 times investigators opened the Petroleum Equipment Institute's files and found the same story hiding in the details. Each report described a fire at the pump: no open flames, no engine running, no phone in sight. Yet in almost half those cases, exactly 87, the sequence was identical. The driver started fueling, stepped back into the car, and when the tank was nearly full, slid out, reached for the nozzle, and in that instant a spark leapt from fingertip to vapor. Those 87 fires did not happen in one state or one season. They stretched across 39 states, from Pennsylvania winters to dry Texas nights. Cold, dry air made the problem worse, but the pattern stayed the same. Drivers, often trying to escape the chill or grab a forgotten wallet, built up static charge just by moving against the seat. Rubber-soled shoes and synthetic jackets trapped that charge, holding it until the moment they touched the metal nozzle again. The spark was invisible, but the result was not. Flames shot up the filler neck, sometimes burning hands, sometimes damaging the car, and in a few cases spreading to the pump or even the station canopy. PEI's reports describe one Pennsylvania station where a single static spark caused six-figure damage. Another file details a cluster of 14 similar incidents in the same state within a single year. In almost every case, the driver followed every posted rule: no smoking, engine off, phone untouched. But the fire still happened because the real danger was not on the sign. The investigators pieced together timelines, compared witness statements, and confirmed what the numbers already suggested. The act of getting back in the car during fueling was the missing link. The evidence did not point to rare equipment failures or freak accidents. It pointed again and again to ordinary habits repeated by millions of drivers every day. Static electricity doesn't need a visible spark to do real damage at the gas pump. Sliding across a car seat, especially when it is cold and dry outside, can load your body with up to 20,000 volts. That's more than enough to ignite gasoline vapor by a factor of 100. Gasoline vapor, invisible and heavier than air, hugs the lowest point around the filler neck. The energy needed to set it off is tiny, 1/3 of a millijoule. A single static spark from your finger can deliver 10 times that amount in an instant. Fowler Associates estimates that about 100 static sparked fires break out at U.S. gas stations every year. The pattern is almost always the same. The driver starts fueling, gets back in the car, and then slides out when the tank is nearly full. That simple act rebuilds the static charge. If you reach for the nozzle without touching any metal first, the charge jumps from your finger to the vapor cloud gathered at the filler neck. Flames can erupt before you even realize what happened, but there is a fix, and it is so simple, most people overlook it. The average fill-up takes 2 minutes. If you stay outside your car the entire time, every surface you touch, door handle, pump, fuel cap, drains away any static before you ever grip the nozzle. 7 or 8 touches, each one a chance for the charge to bleed off harmlessly. If you absolutely have to get back in the car, touch the metal door frame with your bare hand before you reach for the pump. That single step grounds you, instantly dropping your voltage to 0. The difference between a safe fill-up and a disaster is not a warning sign or a fancy gadget. It is a habit. 2 minutes of patience outside the car is all it takes to avoid the one mistake that is behind nearly half of all static fires at the pump. The science is clear, the numbers are real, and the solution is in your hands. Every year, American drivers hand over more than $2 billion to oil companies for something they do not need: premium gasoline. The number comes from AAA, which tracked how many people reach for the higher-priced nozzle, even though their cars are built for regular. 16.5 million drivers every year pay a markup of nearly 25% on every fill-up, all for the promise of performance that never arrives. The pump flashes the word premium in bold letters, but for 7 out of 10 vehicles on the road, the engine was engineered to run perfectly on 87 octane. No extra horsepower, no cleaner emissions, no longer engine life, just a bigger receipt at the end of the week. The difference in price adds up fast. 20 or 30 cents more per gallon might not sound like much, but over the course of a year, it drains hundreds from a single household. Multiply that by millions of drivers, and the waste climbs to staggering heights. $2.1 billion lost for no reason except confusion at the pump. AAA's spokesperson put it bluntly: there is zero measurable benefit for most drivers. If your car's manual says regular, buying premium is just throwing money away. The industry does not rush to clear up the misunderstanding. Signs and pump screens nudge drivers toward the pricier option, and the profit margin on premium is hard to ignore. The result is a quiet, steady drain on wallets across the country, all because a single word, premium, sounds safer, stronger, or better. The numbers tell a different story. Manufacturers make the difference clear, but the words are easy to miss. When a fuel door or manual says premium required, the engine is tuned to demand higher octane. That means computers, sensors, and timing all expect fuel that resists knock, the sudden uncontrolled combustion that damages pistons and valves. In these engines, using regular unleaded triggers instant changes. Power drops, the knock sensor scrambles to protect the engine, and repairs for long-term damage can fall outside warranty coverage. High-performance cars like the BMW M Series, Porsche 911 Turbo, and AMG Mercedes fall into this category. For these, premium isn't a suggestion, it is a safeguard. Premium recommended is a different story. Chipaway's engineers tested dozens of vehicles labeled this way, pushing them through high-load situations, towing, hauling, and aggressive acceleration. Some models, like the Cadillac Escalade, showed a small bump in fuel economy or horsepower. Others, including the Audi A3, actually performed worse on premium than on regular. The average gain across all vehicles tested was just 2.7% in fuel efficiency and 1.4% in horsepower, and only under heavy stress. During normal city and highway driving, those benefits disappeared. For the vast majority of cars, the sticker or manual will simply say regular unleaded. That covers about 70% of vehicles on American roads. The decision rule is simple. Check your owner's manual or the sticker inside your fuel door. If it says premium required, do not cut corners. If it says premium recommended or regular unleaded, save your money. Premium buys you nothing but a higher receipt. The science, the lab tests, and the engineers all agree. Most drivers only need 87 octane. When a driver ignores the pump's automatic shutoff and keeps squeezing, the damage starts quietly. Modern cars use a system called EVAP, short for evaporative emissions control, to trap gasoline vapors before they escape into the air. At the heart of this system sits a charcoal canister packed with activated carbon, designed to soak up vapor, not liquid. The moment liquid gasoline is forced in past the shutoff, it floods the canister, saturating the carbon and destroying its ability to filter. The car's computer can't hide the problem for long. Diagnostic codes like P0440, P0441, P0455, P0456, and P0457 begin to stack up, each one pointing to evaporative leaks or failures. The check engine light flickers on, and sometimes, if the damage spreads, it triggers rough idling or a persistent gas smell that lingers around the car. Repair bills pile up fast. Replacing a charcoal canister alone runs anywhere from $200 to $1,500, depending on the make and model. If the liquid reaches the catalytic converter, the total jumps by another $800 to over $1,000. Mechanics see these cases every week, especially in areas where self-service is the norm. One technician described a customer who came in with a recurring check engine light and a strong odor of fuel. The smoke test revealed the canister was soaked through. The driver admitted to topping off every tank, trying to hit a round number. That habit cost him nearly $1,200 in parts and labor, all for a few extra cents at the pump. The problem isn't rare. Consumer Reports, AA, and countless repair shops warn about the same sequence. Overfilling leads to canister failure, which leads to bigger repairs down the line. The warning signs are subtle at first, maybe a faint gas smell or a code that clears and comes back. By the time the system fails completely, the cost is unavoidable. For most drivers, the damage happens out of sight, weeks or even months after the habit that caused it. But every bill tells the same story. The pump clicked, the driver kept going, and the car paid the price. Gasoline does not just sit quietly in your tank. For every 15 degrees Fahrenheit the air warms. Gasoline expands by about 1%. That expansion happens with surprising force. In a typical 15-gallon fill-up, a 30-degree swing from a cool morning to a hot afternoon can add more than a quart of extra volume. That extra liquid has nowhere to go but into lines and components designed for vapor, not for sloshing fuel. The system built to trap fumes, the evaporative emissions system, relies on a charcoal canister filled with activated carbon. It is built to absorb vapor, not to handle floods of liquid. When overfilling sends gasoline into the canister, the carbon gets saturated and the filter's capacity is destroyed. The car's computer starts to notice. First, a faint gasoline smell lingers around the car, even days after a fill-up. Then rough idling appears, or a check engine light flickers on and off. Mechanics see trouble codes like P0440, P0441, P0455, P0456, and P0457, each one pointing to a problem in the evaporative emissions system. Failed emissions tests, persistent warning lights, and repair bills ranging from $200 to $1,500 all trace back to the same habit, topping off after the pump clicks. The warning signs are not always obvious. Sometimes the first clue is a failed smog inspection, or a mechanic's puzzled look when the usual fixes do not work. Sometimes it is just a whiff of fuel near the rear wheel, but the root cause is always the same: liquid gasoline pushed past the system's limit. There is one habit that prevents all of it. When the nozzle clicks off, stop pumping. That click is not just a suggestion, it is the system's way of saying the tank is full and the vapor recovery system is working. Ignoring it risks damage that builds slowly and costs more than any savings from rounding up the price. 2 minutes of patience and one simple rule: stop at the first click. That is the difference between a clean bill of health for your car and a repair nobody warned you about. Right now, the real risks, including static sparks, wasted dollars, and hidden repairs, are missing from every pump sign you see. The industry profits when drivers stay uninformed, costing Americans billions and putting safety at risk each year. Until those warnings change, your best defense is knowledge, not blind compliance. What gas stations do not tell you can hurt you unless you know where to look. Share your experience below and drive smarter every time you fill up.